Hello. I've been thinking things lately. The therapy and psychiatric counseling. It's weird. The things you have in your garage, the attic of your mind. You know they're there. But when was the last time you took them out and looked at them? You know, those kinds of memories. There was a traumatic time in my life that I did not particularly enjoy. Sorry, there's a helicopter and I couldn't find a lighter. That dude's probably a Vietnam pilot, by the way. Around here, more than likely, Vietnam pilot. Probably been flying a helicopter longer than I've been alive. I'm 40. I've been unraveling these knots deep in the core of my brain and my mind and my psyche and my subconscious. The things that my id weaponizes. Trauma. If you hurt me this way, then I'll hurt the world back the same way. I think, fuck. I think I just unfastened a knot without trying to. Just saying that. Felt liberating. Saying that made it real. That's my pain. Nobody's allowed to invalidate it. But somewhere, something ancillary, tertiary, and accoutrement, a side dish, a gaiden. To that trauma that I am now free from. By just saying it and making it real. Even if for one moment. Reminded this really cool chick when I was in the 319th at Lackland AFB. Like, if you know, you know. I'm not going to talk about it right now. I'm not going to talk for 30 more minutes. She was there longer than any of us. When no one understood why she wasn't getting discharged already. This is the squadron where you go to get discharged. Why have you been here 9 months longer than it takes to complete basic training? Why are you still here? Nobody really seems to know. But she took flight after flight as each one of us was picked off and sent home, and our aspirations for the future shot down like a nuclear missile crashing down upon a dove to scatter its ashes upon the edge of a seashore, to be battered against the waves and scattered to the far ends of the whole planet. What you aspired to be is not what was meant to be. That's a hard thing to deal with. And she had to be there longer than anybody else. And God help me, I wish I remembered her name. But I just always remember her as this ebony Amazonian warrior. She, the psychiatrists, the chaplains, and the religious people, they all talk to us, but she always took the time when we were standing around the pad area to talk to us. And you could tell, she kept like this journal in her head of, when's the last time I talked to this person? Yeah. Hey, how you doing? What's your favorite food and chow? What's your favorite Bible verse? The few things that kept us going. She made us speak them aloud in front of other people. She gave us the courage because of rank. We were forced to say what she asked of us. She asked us the kinds of questions that could let us speak of ourselves individually amongst the sea of similarity. She was, just like, I don't know, just like this mother figure in a military sense to help us reconcile military life with all the training we had been through, and then, hey, you have to be a civilian again. And I know a lot of people that struggle with going through that. And I remember not only her, and the one time where we watched the Shawshank Redemption. It was like 40 of us in this one dorm room. We had a laptop and a projector, and we were just like watching the Shawshank Redemption. It's just like I could make a whole another video about my emotions and my feelings about the similarities between military and prison life. they're on opposite ends of the moral spectrum, but I mean, they're pretty much the same thing. But there was this, on the day that me and these 3 other dudes were all getting discharged at the same time, out of the 319th, out of the B9 dorms from Lackland AFB. And these 3 other dudes, they were like 2 or 3 years older than me. And they were really into just like drinking, partying, hanging out with girls, that type of thing. I've never been into that personally. I've done it, and I just don't really care. And I remember all 4 of us, we're in the bus, and it's like, yo, we're getting discharged, but let's keep in touch, let's all write each other's phone numbers on our manila discharge envelopes, and, all keep in touch with each other. Let's all go to Cancun, let's all just get drunk and hang out with girls, and, we were all going to do that type of thing, I remember this one other dude, when he was getting discharged, he had nowhere to go. He didn't have a mother or father left alive, and he didn't have any family that were willing to house him. And he was thinking about how to, because, even while you're in the process of being discharged, you're still getting paid. And he was just like, hey, Tony, yo, look, I'm going to need some Game Boy Advance games to play. Like, I'm going to get a Game Boy Advance SP, and I want to get some games that are really good. They're going to last me. And I know you have good taste in video games. So, tell me a bunch of video games for the Game Boy Advance that I can get. Because, like, it's going to be me, the Game Boy Advance, a Bible, and trying to figure out what I'm going to do for the next, 9 months after that. But I need some video games to play when I get out, bro. I gave him a bunch of suggestions. The types of things I talk about on this channel. That's why, I suggest the games I do, because I think they're really good. But, think about that guy a lot. I just want to know what occurs in this world. Because from everything that I have seen, I know that there is always a universal balance in all things. Right now, I'm looking at a crack in my tent as the wind and the sunlight dance amongst the trees. As I see the leaves green in the grass with chlorophyll, soaking in the light from the sun, generating sugars that go all the way back into the trunk so that the roots are able to do what they need to do so that the plant can continue to thrive. This perfect balance of dryness and rain, darkness, sunshine. The flowers that bloom are so beautiful. They're so transient, magnificent reminder of the wonderful balance of this perfect area of altitude, heat, moisture, soil nutrients, sunlight. Every time I see light, I also see the darkness. But never forget these two things. For now, are inexplicably intertwined with one another. Never forget, for every wondrous beauty that one may behold, for every magnificent person who is stalwart in heart and soul, who guides others when they are down, there is another who seeks to destroy and bring down. Everything is either light or it is dark. There is no gray area. I'm going to end it here. Thanks for listening. Apparently, I really needed to get that off my chest. That is not what is on my mind. This has been what has been on my heart. For nearly 20 years. Express yourself. Express yourself.